Welcome to The Explainer. You know, I was absolutely amazed when I started digging into today's topic. We're looking at a fascinating breakdown of the thermal tank's strategic evolution and its literally massive market success out in California. If you've been following the massive shifts in energy storage and grid management lately, you already know this is a hugely hot topic right now. We're going to use the data straight from the source to map out exactly how this single product evolved from just a standalone component into a full-blown platform. And we'll see exactly why the California market became the ultimate proving ground for its success. Let's dive right in.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The thermal tank innovation. 2. Evolving into a platform. 3. The California proving ground. 4. Regulations driving the shift. And finally, number 5. Multi-layered market incentives.
So let's kick things off with Section 1, the thermal tank innovation.
Following their company rebrand back in mid-2025, Thermal Energy HQ basically set the stage for a totally new chapter. They made this physical product their absolute #1 focus. And honestly, you kind of have to forget everything you think you know about traditional thermal storage tanks. This unit was custom engineered from the ground up to be the most flexible, high-performing, and durable solution on the market. It's not just a holding vessel, right? It actually functions as a thermal battery, which provides a highly innovative way to radically expand thermal storage capabilities. Now, why is this thing so special? Well, the core advantages fundamentally change the game. Because the design is modular and unpressurized, which means it's way safer and totally avoids all those complex plumbing requirements, it allows for significantly lower transportation costs and incredibly easy on-site installation. We're talking way fewer failure points. Plus, the top-load connections, that makes a contractor's life so much easier. On top of that, the choice of materials means highly scalable sourcing without any tariff headaches. It's 100% recyclable and highly insulative. So right out of the gate, this tank is bringing both superior performance and totally predictable sourcing to the table.
Moving right along to Section 2, evolving into a platform.
But look, a great tank is really just the beginning of the story. This timeline shows how the product evolved from a single unit into a totally comprehensive domestic hot water system. In mid-2025, the focus was squarely on the thermal tank as the lead product, and they were breaking through in markets like New York and New England. Then, by late 2025, a second project implemented some major enhancements to the overall system's design. But the real turning point? That hits in early 2026. That's when a major developer, CZB, committed to a massive series of 45 installs using the design principles of the tank. And even more importantly, this is exactly when Thermal Energy HQ's partner for heat pump procurement, Solaris Systems, developed an advanced pump group solution. That right there, that was the missing link. So what did that missing link actually create? It resulted in a beautifully unified, 4-part comprehensive domestic hot water platform. First, you've got the thermal tank. Second, the Solaris Systems pump group. And what's absolutely brilliant here is that they moved the heat exchanger completely out of the tank and put it right into the pump group. That enhanced flow monitoring, improved effectiveness, and drastically got down on contractor add-on work. Third, you add a heat pump as the energy source. And the cool thing is, the system is totally model agnostic, so it's remarkably flexible on heat source pairing. Finally, number 4, you have the balance of systems, which covers the essentials like seismic straps and diffusers. And get this, over the first 5 months of 2026, all 45 systems were successfully installed. That proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that this complete platform works perfectly in the real world.
Which brings us to Section 3, the California proving ground.
While those early East Coast markets were super promising, California turned out to be the ultimate foundation for this platform. But why California? Well, the scale here is literally staggering. Think about it. If we viewed California as a standalone economy, it would be the 4th largest in the entire world, rocking a nominal GDP of $4.1 trillion. It's got a population of 39.5 million people. When you're looking to scale a brand new energy platform, you need a market with enough sheer volume to support rapid growth. In California, it presents an absolutely unparalleled opportunity. Just think about this number for a second. 3.6 million. According to the source data, that is the estimated number of multifamily housing units located in structures with 5 or more units across the state of California. That translates to somewhere between 110,000 and 160,000 actual buildings. So when we start talking about retrofitting older, incredibly inefficient domestic hot water systems, we are looking at a massive, massive universe of potential installations.
So let's break down what that actually means economically for this platform. The documents outline the target market potential, specifically focusing on the big fish, buildings with 20 units or more. If you assume an annual target market of capturing just 3,000 replacement installations, meaning replacing the old systems with this new heat pump, pump group, and thermal tank combo, and you figure an average product cost of $30,000, that totals a $90 million annual value. $90 million! And that's just for the product itself, not even factoring in the installation or potential hydronic heating tie-ins.
All right, moving into Section 4, regulations driving the shift.
Because, a huge population isn't enough on its own to guarantee that a new technology gets adopted. California's regulatory environment isn't just some random collection of laws. It's actually a highly coordinated strategy aimed at totally reshaping how buildings consume energy. The old regulatory goal used to just focus on isolated equipment efficiency, like simply getting a slightly better air conditioner or a more efficient boiler. But the new goal, heavily governed by California's Title 24 Building Standards Code, it is entirely different. Think of it like turning a building into a giant smart energy sponge. It's all about grid interactive, flexible load, electrification, and demand responsiveness. The code doesn't just evaluate buildings on how much energy they use anymore, but on exactly when they use it.
There's a quote directly from the source material that really hits the nail on the head. It says, California regulators increasingly view buildings not merely as energy consumers, but as active participants in grid management. This is absolutely crucial to understand. Under the state's time-dependent valuation, or TDV methodology, you essentially get penalized for using electricity during peak rush hour times. Widespread electrification could easily overwhelm the grid during those windows. And that right there is exactly why the thermal tank platform is crushing it here. Its expanded storage capacity and smart controls let it store up thermal energy during low-demand periods, and then shift the load completely away from those peak utility hours. It literally turns a building's thermal load into a highly flexible asset for the grid.
And that leads us perfectly into Section 5, multi-layered market incentives. If the regulations are the stick giving the market a push, the incentives are the carrot providing a massive financial pull. What's super fascinating about California is how it operates compared to other regions. Unlike states where incentives are just these sort of isolated, one-off rebates, California has built a comprehensively layered ecosystem. It's like a layer cake of funding. You have state-level programs through the California Energy Commission and the Public Utilities Commission driving decarbonization. Then you step down to the utility level, where massive companies like PG&E, Southern California Edison, and SDG&E are offering huge incentives specifically for load management and thermal storage. And finally, you have local and regional level funds, like city grants and air quality district support. When you stack all those layers together, it completely transforms the project economics for property owners looking to do these retrofits.
And what exactly is this layer cake of funding actually paying for? They are aggressively rewarding very specific grid interactive behaviors: electrification, demand reduction, load shifting, grid resilience, and renewable energy integration. Now, if you think back to our breakdown of that 4-part thermal tank platform, it effortlessly checks every single one of these boxes all at once. It replaces fossil fuels, it slashes peak electrical demand by shifting loads using its thermal battery capabilities, and it adds serious resilience to the property. It is quite literally the exact solution that this multi-layered incentive landscape was custom-built to reward. Which leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. As power grids everywhere face just unprecedented strain from rapid electrification, will California's grid interactive framework and the platform technologies like the thermal tank that are absolutely thriving inside it become the ultimate blueprint for the rest of the world? Seeing how a simple storage tank evolved into this highly intelligent, grid-responsive thermal platform really gives us a front-row seat to the future of building energy management. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning how the systems around you are built.